Yes, y'all. The prodigal son has returned. Hello, I'm back. Have you guys been enjoying the content dropping daily on MURKtv? On YouTube. MURKtv on YouTube, guys, is the place to go if you want to see the daily releases. We have a Murk Plays and a Minute Music Reviews Monday through Friday. Minute Music Reviews is 10 a.m. my time. Murk Plays is 6 p.m. So be sure to check that out, guys. But today, what's the reason for the season? It's the news. The news is what's up today. We're going to hop right into it. We started the headline for today with Alex Jones, so we're going to get into Alex Jones. Let's hop right into this.
Steal, please. Thank you. Obviously, this verdict is unanimous, as that's what's required. And I will read the answers. I'm just going to make sure everything's filled out properly first. Question number 1, $4,200,000. Question number 2, $20,500,000.
Whoa.
Question number 3, $20,500,000.
All the money. All of the money.
All right.
Jones is broke, guys. That's rough.
This question is addressed to my jury. Is this your verdict? So say each and all of you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Would the attorneys like to examine the verdict?
No.
All right. Then I'm going to accept this as a verdict of the jury and order that the clerk enter it upon the minutes of the court. All right. At this time, I am required by the rules of the Supreme Court of Texas to give you one more of the many, many instructions I have given you over the past 2 weeks. I have previously instructed you that you should observe strict secrecy during the trial and during your deliberations, and that you should not discuss the case with anyone except other jurors during your deliberations. I am now about to discharge you. After your discharge, you are released from your secrecy, and you will then be free to discuss the case and your deliberations with anyone. However, you are also free to decline to discuss the case and your deliberations if you wish. After you are discharged, it is lawful for the attorneys
You know we're going to check InfoWars, guys.
to determine whether any of the standards for jury conduct that
Have you
I've
said
given
anything
in
yet?
the course of this trial were violated, and to ask you to give an affidavit to that effect. You are free to discuss or not discuss these matters and to give or not give an affidavit. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again for your jury service. Without it, our system of justice could not exist. I hope that you have benefited to some extent by your being a crucial part of this trial. I will release you, and then Ms. Matashik-Steele has some paperwork for you, and then I will step into the jury room in a few minutes to thank you a little less formally, but you are now excused. Thank you so much.
All rise.
Ooh. spicy. That's so much money. Jones, you owe so much money. So much.
You may be seated.
Let's see Alex Jones's reaction.
This morning, conspiracy theorist Alex Jones continuing to cast doubt.
Just really weird stuff going on in this trial.
After a resounding rebuke, the InfoWars host was ordered to pay an additional $45.2 million in punitive damages to the parents of a Sandy Hook shooting victim.
And I'm going to accept this as a verdict of the jury.
That verdict handed down just one day after the Texas jury ordered Jones pay $4 million in compensatory damages for the years he spent calling the massacre a hoax.
All rise.
The nearly $50 million payout, less than what the parents of 6-year-old Jesse Lewis hoped for. Still, they say it's a win.
Other parents, I wanted to represent you well. I know that you have endured pain, just like I have over the past 10 years. And this is a huge victory for all of you.
But Jones's attorney says it's not over.
You know, the First Amendment is under siege, and that
Under siege. The First Amendment is
he
not
looks
under
forward to continuing the
siege.
fight.
Jones responding to the verdict last night, saying he doesn't have the money he's been ordered to pay, despite expert testimony that InfoWars is likely worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
My net worth is below $5 million if you count everything I've got.
All of this comes after a bombshell
No
week
way
in court
is your
where
net
years
worth
of Jones's
under
text
$5 million.
messages were
As many
revealed
vitamins
after
as you
being sent to
sling,
the
bro.
plaintiff's attorney by mistake.
No way.
The messages contradicting testimony Jones gave under oath, with the potential to place him in even more hot water.
I've been asked by the January 6th committee to turn their document.
And the attorney for the family says that those text messages that he received by mistake included messages between Trump advisor Roger Stone and Alex Jones. Now, the January 6th committee is not commenting.
They do have
but they
Roger
did
Stone
subpoena
messages.
Jones back in November,
no.
and they are looking into his role in
That's
the
rough.
rally and later riot. Kristen, Peter.
All right, Priscilla
That's rough.
Thompson, thank you so much.
Oh, man. Okay, let's hop over to InfoWars. I can't take it anymore. Let's see if he's currently ranting. See if he's just currently ranting. Let's see. Trump calls emergency meeting at Mar-a-Lago. I think he's still simping for Trump. We'll get to Trump here in a second. Oh, I think that's where they're at right now.
Did President Biden know about this? You better believe he did. President Biden and Chief of Staff Ron Klain found out about this while Biden was in quarantine for COVID. He's still in quarantine for COVID. Chris Wray signed off on it, the FBI director, but it's really being driven by Attorney General Merrick Garland. Garland is...
Okay, so he's going off on Mar-a-Lago. Here's the thing. I don't care to get into that just yet. We're going to go into that here in a moment. I'd rather talk about Trump pleading the Fifth, which is our next story up. But to wrap up on Alex Jones, this will probably be the last time I go to InfoWars on stream. I don't really care to check it out anymore. He's been found guilty of defamation. In my opinion, his journalistic integrity, which was already flimsy, is nothing. It doesn't exist anymore. So, guys, the press F for today is Alex Jones's journalistic integrity. You guys see the cat? The cat's been a menace today. Just a cat creeping. Change of food and she's hating it. She's hating it. All right. Let's see here. We have a New York City probe, and apparently Trump he pled the Fifth.
And also, we're learning new details this afternoon about that FBI raid earlier this week on former President Trump's Florida residence Mar-a-Lago, as Trump says he pleaded the Fifth today in a separate, long-running New York civil investigation into his business dealings.
Jeez.
Mr. Trump, can we have a word? How do you feel, Mr. Trump? How do you feel?
That was the scene when the
would
former
imagine he
president
feels
was
tired
arriving at the New York Attorney General
and
Letitia
stressed.
James' office today to be questioned under oath. This probe involves allegations Trump's company inflated the value of assets like hotels and misled lenders and tax authorities. Now, Trump has denied wrongdoing.
I'm sure
and
they
today,
inflated
the former president
the
saying in
hell
a
out of
statement he
things.
declined to answer questions in that legal interview, invoking his right against self-incrimination. While in the past,
Charge you
Trump has said,
$40 for a
"If you're
$10
innocent,
steak."
why would you plead the fifth? He now claims
put
in
his
that
name on it.
statement that he's being targeted and had, quote, no choice, casting it as part of a grander conspiracy. Now this, as the president on his True Social site is speaking out about the FBI raid of his Florida residence. Now this search warrant executed was part of an unrelated probe into whether he took classified records when he left the White House. Trump writes, everyone was asked to leave the premises. They wanted to be left alone without any witnesses to see what they were doing, taking, or hopefully not planting.
Discord officially
Trump
unmuted.
didn't provide
What up,
any
bro?
evidence for that claim. The execution of this search warrant prompted a furious response from a number of Republicans who've called it unfair and even suspicious.
Howdy.
How are you doing, brother? Was work crazy today?
It was real busy, and then all of a sudden we ran out of stuff to do in like the last hour to 30 minutes.
Yeah, I bet. That's well, whoa. So did you just meet a quota?
Just ran out of orders that we needed to cut today.
Heck yeah, dude. That's always a good time. Sorry about my crazy breathing. I've been a little phlegmy the last few days. I'm not sure what's going on with my voice. I definitely haven't overused it. I've been taking it pretty easy. But man, that's awesome. I'm lucky enough to have a little bit of time off of the laborious parts of doing the theater. I think probably my last kind of chill few days before the busy season really picks back up. All the college kids are back in town. Less crackheads, thank God. Been so tired of the bums outside of my window. Oh my gosh. They're gone though. The cops are running them off.
I can imagine.
Security's working. Oh, dude, I've been so tired of it. Like, it's, if this was the 90s, I wouldn't care, but it's fentanyl now, and I just don't have the time for it. But we're catching a live stream, dude. It's been a minute, it feels like. I feel like I've dropped what, 7, 8, 9 videos on YouTube since I've done a live stream.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, the new daily grind is just Merk plays and minute music reviews right now. But brother, I'm still scheming to do Merk Explores. I need to find a free evening with you and Arianthe, and I want us to just start recording a series. And we'll find a good evening in the week that we're all like free and have a few hours, and we'll just cut a few different episodes.
I'm pretty much free every evening.
Okay, good. Has Arianthe been all right? I haven't heard from her in a minute.
I think just busy with work and stuff mostly.
Oh, that makes sense. Back in Spoopyville. Which, hey, that grind right now hopefully is getting nice. I know by October she'll probably be super, super, super busy. But okay, so real quick, now that I've got the Discord unmuted, what do you think about Alex Jones? I think I'm done with him on the channel. I think we're moving on from Alex Jones. He's been too problematic. It was funny. Now he's just guilty of defamation and owes more money than he says he has.
I mean, I can back that up. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, that's
It was funny while it lasted, but now it's just like it's not even funny anymore. It's just him repeating the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, and being weirdly into Trump still, even though they broke up. We saw him cry over him. So it's like, why are you still simping for that man hella hard? Which brings me to the story we're on right now. We're actually checking out Trump. Apparently he pled the fifth in this probe. Mar-a-Lago has been raided. We have some unprecedented stuff happening to our former president, Donald J. Trump. And man, I'm almost speechless. I really don't have anything to say about the political side of the news lately, other than I'm kind of proud to be alive through such, you know, historical.
Just kind of glad to see it happening.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, glad I'm able to eat popcorns on the sidelines and watch this happen, because I'm sure there are generations out there that had nothing going. Who was alive during Polk? I'm sure they don't have any you know, what are the interesting stories? Like, we had to eat the family mule. Like, what, you know, we're living a pretty cool time. If you're a fan of history like myself. This who was this cat? We're talking to one of the.
You would go into a former president. Why wouldn't they just ask the
Kevin
president
McCarthy.
if they have something there that they
Give
want?
me a screen share, by the way.
Oh, snap!
Why did?
Forgot. Been a minute. You know, I've been discovering the secrets to like the perfect live stream and just trying to upgrade the quality of like gameplay stuff, because that's something that, you know, Lux is really passionate about and wants to do for her channel. So it's like, I feel like I'm getting better at it, but I've almost forgotten how to do the live stream the way I set it up, like with the news and stuff.
You're just a little out of practice is all.
Yeah. Even though it's only been what? Jeez. I mean, I was here for the end of Comic-Con. It hasn't been that long. I'm going to try to do at least a good live stream once a week now. Changing format up a little bit, but since things are getting busy for me professionally, it's like one a week-ish, maybe more, but I more want to focus on like the things I enjoy about the live streams are really just hanging out with you and Arianthe, Justin. So it's like, I'd rather just I have an idea for a series and we'll just do that. I'd rather just do that, make it good quality, replay value, stuff like that.
They have to show up in the manner they did, because this isn't the way they treated other people.
See if
this
we can get
isn't the
people
way they
drawing
treated other
cartoons
people
of us
within their own party.
We want an inventory of what they actually took from the president's house, so we can see whether or not this actually even matches to what they said they went into the president's house for, and how many things they took that were actually related to the president's personal affairs, because that certainly is the highest level of concern here.
Now Newsweek cited
That's
two
not
senior
why
government
they were
officials
there.
reported
That's
the
not
raid was
why they
timed
were
for
there.
when Trump was away from Mar-a-Lago.
Again, it almost seems like he took a bunch of confidential files and just was using them as coasters at Mar-a-Lago. Like, hey, welcome Chinese diplomats. Just put your drink on these confidential files. Don't look at them though. They're confidential.
Based on thinking it
I was
would
the
lower
president.
the profile of the search. That doesn't seem
Like,
to have
dude,
been the
come
case.
on.
Also, reporting the raid was based largely
That
on
was
information
huge.
from an FBI confidential source who was able to identify what
God, that's a
classified
gaudy
documents
place.
Trump was hiding and the location. Now, the Justice Department has not yet explained the basis for the raid or what laws may have been broken
Brazilian
or what
embassy.
property was retrieved. The White House has said President Biden was not aware of the search or
Well, you
briefed
just
on
design
it.
genes
And take
in
a
that
look
building.
at this. Today, some Trump supporters turning out in Riverside. You see them there on
dude
the
was in a
street. They
kilt.
are protesting Monday's move by the FBI, and we're hearing calls growing from largely GOP lawmakers for the DOJ to release information on the Monday raid. The agency has so far remained silent. That's the latest live in the news center. I'll send it back to you.
Well, all right. Let's see here. Trump can release the warrant. He should release the warrant. What? Uh-oh.
We are a nation in decline.
Uh-oh.
We are.
Ooh, Justin, buckle up, bro. This is apparently a video Trump posted on Truth Social. Apparently he's gonna actually run. He's gonna try to run in 2024. Oh man. I feel like my butthole went all the way up into my throat when I saw this little tweet at the bottom here. Whoa. Okay. Man. He's going to try to one-up San Diego Comic-Con with these trailers and releases. Okay.
We are a failing nation.
Oh no, don't run again, dude. No one wants it. I mean, people want... Those people don't... we don't want... I don't want it. Too old anyway.
A majority of the country don't want it.
A majority of
We
the
are a
country doesn't
nation
want
that
it.
has the highest inflation in over 40 years.
Oh no! Don't use
Where
inflation.
the
We might
stock
split the
market
red
just
vote.
finished the worst first half of a year. more than 5 decades.
Oh, the thunder sounds.
We are a nation that has the highest energy cost in its history.
Yeah.
And we are no longer energy independent or energy dominant, which we were just 2 short years ago. We are a nation that is begging Venezuela and Saudi Arabia for oil. We are a nation that surrendered in Afghanistan, leaving
So is the
behind
rest of
dead
the world.
soldiers,
Yeah.
American citizens, and $85 billion worth of the finest military equipment in the world. We are a nation that allowed Russia to devastate a country, Ukraine, killing hundreds of thousands of people, and it will only get worse.
He was okay with that.
He was, yeah.
Its law enforcement against the opposing political.
These are all things you did and happened while you were there too, homie. What is that?
Like never before. We've
What?
never seen anything like this. We are a nation that no longer has a free and fair press.
Look, I had bigger royalty
Fake
checks when he
news
was
is about all
president.
you get. We are a nation
It's the only
where
pro
free
on his
speech is
side
no longer
on my Venn
allowed,
diagram.
where crime is rampant like never before, where the economy
That was a
has been
stabbing.
collapsed.
That was a stabbing of just while someone was just walking into a gas station. There couldn't be a more inflammatory political ad. Trump, who made this? It's like the guy who edited all those Zeitgeist style YouTube videos where like you get some Darren Aronofsky movie music. And then you just take shots of the world going to hell. Like,
Where more people died of COVID in 2021 than in 2020.
Because
We're a
that's how
nation that is
pandemics
allowing
work.
Iran to build
It's
a massive
crazy.
nuclear weapon, and China to use the trillions and trillions of dollars it's
Trillions
taken from
and
the United
trillions.
States to build a military to rival our own.
they've had a
We
military
are
to
a
rival
nation
our own, dude.
That over the past 2
The
years,
history of atomic
is no longer
warfare.
respected or listened
Yeah,
to all
there's
around the world. And we are a nation
Not a
that is
talking point.
hostile to liberty and freedom and faith.
No, we're not.
We're a nation whose economy is floundering, whose stores are not stocked,
Well, you know,
whose deliveries are
COVID.
not coming, and whose educational system is ranked at the bottom of every list.
I blame a lot.
We are a nation
Hookworm.
that in many ways has become a joke.
The education thing, homie. There's things we could do
But
better.
soon
Yeah,
we
okay.
will have greatness again. It was hard
Oh, no.
patriots like
But I
you
have
who
no
built this
faith for
country.
him to make it better.
Oh no, he's going for like a Make America Great Again 2.
There is no mountain we cannot climb.
Make America Great
There
Again
is no
again.
summit we cannot reach. There is
Make
no
America
challenge
greater.
we cannot meet.
Maga!
There is no victory we cannot
Oh
have.
no.
We will not bend. We will not break. We will not yield. Ever, ever, ever.
We are the
We will never
unsullied.
give in. We will never give up. And
We're
we
the
will
Dornish.
never, ever back down.
We're the Dornishmen
Never let you down.
from the
As long
south.
as we are
Unbroken,
confident
unbent,
in you.
unbowed.
The tyrants we are fighting do not stand.
We
even
shall
I
not.
mean, maybe it'll split the red
Because we are
vote,
Americans,
if nothing
and
else.
Americans
Oh.
kneel to God and God
I hope it
alone.
does split
And
the.
it is
I hope
time
it
to start
decimates
talking
the.
about greatness
You know, it just kind
for
of
our country
further
again.
pulls him into this like strange right winger. I don't know, fringe demographic. I really hope that's what he becomes. I hope that's what his voter base becomes, because that's what it presents as, is a fringe demographic. But a campaign style ad style video. Okay, so it's not. He's not. You know, is this an official announcement? No. He just. This was. I want. Okay, so this is basically his response to being raided in Mar-a-Lago. Keep my legacy alive. It was huge. It was huge. What did he take from the National Archives, I wonder? Like, what did he fail to return? Like, I know some stuff was, like, taped together when he returned it. Like, it looked like, you know, like, a dog chewed this. Like, no, dude, you're a president. We have to log your official correspondence as president. That's the job of the National Archives.
I mean, there's like actual talk of him flushing confidential documents down toilets.
You don't want to read this. This is me talking dirty to Kim Jong. Il and Un. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about this. We reference some stuff that does. Don't worry about it. Oh, I like to think that the first comment here on this video is actually Mike Tyson. It reads, "I'm not even American, but this gave me chills. I wish you luck, Americans, in making your country great again." Like, Mike, it's clearly not the Mike Tyson. You know. Oh, jeez. Jeez. Okay. Nailed it. Nailed it. Nailed it. I'm what a way to fluster up the voting community, though. He's got to release an official statement soon. Like, okay.
I mean, he's got a year and a half before he has to actually do anything and make an actual statement.
That's true. That's true. And, you know, well, see, here's the thing. Okay, so here's the next story I have pulled up is GOP allies urge Trump to speed up 2024 bid after FBI search, which is scary. I don't want him to, but
former President Trump,
you know, if he makes his motives clear, he'll have a lot of people out there trying to stop him from achieving it. So I think he's trying to, like, keep it close to his chest, even though we all know what's going to happen here.
Of support after the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago, and some top Republicans who first urged Trump to wait until after the midterms to announce his run for president in 2024 are now urging him to
Guy's
get
facial
in
hair is
sooner.
wild.
Melanie Zanona joins us now. So explain the strategy here.
Well, Victor, I would say this is more of a PR and defensive strategy than anything. I mean, look, Republicans do not know what the Justice Department has on Trump or what they're looking into, but they're trying to use that black hole to their advantage. And they think that by Trump declaring a presidential bid now, they can paint Trump as a victim and try to paint the investigation and a potential indictment as nothing more than just a political witch hunt that's designed to take him down. And this is really a rapid shift in thinking among Trump's inner circle, because many of them wanted Trump to wait until after the midterms to announce any presidential bid, because they were concerned about Trump being on the ballot in November instead of it being a referendum on President Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. But over the last 48 hours, we've been told that Trump has just received a barrage of encouragement to run as soon as possible, including at a dinner last night that he had with a group of House conservative members. I talked to one of those Republicans that was at the dinner last night, Republican Jim Banks of Indiana, and here's what he told me about that meeting with Trump. He, as in Trump, told us that his mind is made up. It's just a timing of when he will make that announcement. My sense is he is fired up and ready to go. And he received a lot of encouragement in the room to get out sooner than later.
Uh-oh.
Now, Victor, I'm also
So he's
told
got
that
active
during this meeting, Trump
representatives like,
talked about
do
the
it
types
now.
of
Again, the
investigations
GOP is like,
in the
no,
Department
go,
of Justice that
run,
Republicans
announce that you're
will
running.
pursue if they recapture the majority in the fall.
Oh,
and so
man.
this is really just another example of how Republicans are rallying to Trump's side in the wake of this FBI search. Victor.
Melanie Zanona with the reporting there on Capitol Hill. Thank you very much. Let's discuss now with CNN political commentator S.E. Cupp and CNN political commentator and former Trump campaign advisor David Urban. Welcome to you both. David, let me start with you. Do you think that the former president should get into the race before November?
No, Victor, I would urge the president not to get into the race before November. I think that the president's entrance in the race would deflect a lot from the focus.
This guy has like a strange, like, 60s Disney character. Like, I think that we should have. This guy's vibe is wild.
It's where it should be, placing the focus where it should be, on the record of the Biden administration. Right? Joe Biden has historically.
Someone scrambled Humpty Dumpty over here.
Lowest of any president in polling, in modern polling,
Oh, Lord.
even in, as far back as the Eisenhower years. And, the right track, wrong track in America, 85% of Americans believe the country's going on the wrong track. So with those,
The 85% of America. Yeah, I mean, I don't want Biden either.
Not on Donald Trump.
That I really don't want Trump.
No, I don't think there's any. I think it's sort of delusional to think that Trump is in a silo and Republican, Senate and congressional candidates are running without him or apart from him. He's very much involved in these races. He's endorsing many candidates. He's, not just dipping a toe, but an entire leg into the midterm elections. I don't think, especially Republican voters, are really separating Trump from Republican candidates. So I don't think it matters all that much when he announces or not.
I think it does. I think he should soon.
Look, I obviously disagree with SE on that.
So we can all, I can go ahead and start making content warning people not to vote for the man.
Candidates. They don't, there are some where the president has waded in, as she said, he's dipped a whole leg and not just a toe. And
oh, no, you don't want Trump. That, no, it's horrible.
Across this country where the president hasn't weighed in, or people are running on their.
The only pro on my Venn diagram was more music royalties, but
and I think they deserve
other than that,
a chance to be heard by the voters.
Horrible time for our country. Interesting to be alive through.
Of, this raid or anything else from now till Election Day.
Listen, on this search.
Good luck. I mean, good luck with that. I understand the desire to separate, some candidates who don't want to be tainted by Trump from Trump himself. But I mean, good luck with that. This is all happening at the same time, not in a vacuum.
We saw it last night.
Essie, my simple point is we should be.
Exactly. Fucking someone scrambled Humpty Dumpty over there, dude. Someone shook his egg too hard.
No, I completely agree with your strategy. If I were advising Republicans, I would be saying exactly what you are. Yeah. I'm just not sure it really matters all that much when Trump gets in. I think he's already looming so large over the party. That's all.
On this search specifically, we know that Trump's base, the 30% or whatever of Republicans, they are energized by this. Yeah. Do you think that this brings some of those Republicans who were starting to separate after the January 6 hearings, thinking maybe
needs to go ahead and announce so everyone can build a battle plan?
I think we're making too much of what this.
That's why he's not announcing it yet. I guarantee it.
Trump. And so, of course, they're energized. They were always energized. It's not like this, they needed this pick-me-up.
And hello, everybody. Be sure to smash that thumbs up.
And this just solidifies what they always thought about the deep state and the conspiracy theories. And then I think if you were really turned off by Jan 6, something like this will probably continue to turn you off. This is an awful week for the president and the country. I mean, he's facing several lawsuits. His tax returns are going to be overturned. His home office was searched by the FBI.
It's a bad week. This is a stressful time.
And so I think if you were already getting a whiff of,
if you were that man,
wanting to move on, thinking this guy's probably corrupt,
a mega audit,
got some, facing some criminal charges,
like an audit the size of one of Johnny Depp's pints,
David, to that
like a
point,
mega
why
audit.
Are we seeing the potential 2024 opponents, Nikki Haley, former Vice President Pence, Ron DeSantis, former Secretary Pompeo, all coming out with these statements deriding the FBI, deriding the administration, when this could help them if they just stay silent here.
Right. Well, I think, SE's analysis of this, I think Republicans writ large care a great deal about overreach from the Department of Justice and from the federal government writ large, right?
I mean, everybody should care about overreach from the Department of Justice, okay? But I don't think they're acting outside of
in the history of the Republic,
I don't think they're overreaching.
And so I disagree with her. I think that
I think that the DOJ has probable cause to search him from his butthole to the back of his teeth.
Amongst a great deal more
personally,
Republicans
like,
that would have considered him. So your question at the beginning of that was, has this helped the president?
I
people
mean,
give him a relook? I think they have.
He was a president that failed to return correspondence and confidential information to the National Archive. Like,
now this has occurred, so
yeah,
it's just my take on it. But I do
we've
think
waterboarded people for less. You know what I mean? Like, are we a crazy nation? Yeah.
Talking point that
but
all across the country, people are very concerned about the
and exactly the way the DOJ is acting is because it's his appointed DOJ, and they're some old school cowboys about it. They don't care about it. Take a threat of probable cause, and they'll tear you up. And it's kind of nice to see some of the elites of the nation, some of the wealthier people, some of the people that seemed untouchable in the past, kind of face consequences. Consequences, like we would.
That's a sign of a healthy
you fault on one thing, or you aggrieve the wrong person as just what I would call like an American layperson. If you're just middle to lower class, you could end up in jail or in a cycle of fines for months to years.
This is it's preposterous, and I think
it affects your life, and
Yeah, I'm not going that
You know,
far.
the point of law is to be fair as we can in an unfair world, and to see this apply to these wealthy and these elites is nice. It's interesting to see, for sure. Again, I'm glad to be alive in this period of time. Consequence culture, guys.
Are you kidding me, Essie? Are you kidding me?
Not cancel culture, consequence culture.
Hillary Clinton's doors to get her server with
Trump set the precedent.
Essie, could I
You are not. No one is
top
untouchable
information,
anymore.
Top secret information on Hillary Clinton's computer. Okay, I'm not sure if you're familiar with how a SCIF works, Essie, but you can't put top secret information.
You don't need to be condescending, David. I know what you know.
I'm
trust
not,
me.
Essie. I'm just saying it is simply a much bigger deal. Nobody raided the Clinton house in Chappaqua.
We don't have
and so
to
for you to say that I'm parroting,
compare and contrast.
Look, the Clintons.
Essie, just let me finish.
Residents. I mean, look.
World talking points because I'm saying Republicans.
They had to give up a lot of their information at the Department of Justice at one point, right? Over a couple different scandals between Whitewater and the blowjob.
Republicans, Essie, Republicans.
All right, now let
Hillary's
Essie finish.
emails.
And they did.
Yeah.
They gave the information when they were asked to give the information.
Yeah. If we're talking about what Hillary Clinton did in her capacity as Secretary of State, well, like, I don't know, it's a different scale when we're talking about president. Again, I think she should. I think she's a war criminal. I do. I didn't vote for the woman. Didn't vote for Trump. But
and I don't think people, wide swaths of Americans,
I
believe that
won't
the
vote for
FBI
Trump.
is corrupt
Absolutely
and coming
not.
for them because they went for a president who set the precedent.
But I also won't vote for Biden. Absolutely
no other
not.
president had ever done before. Some of which
This is going to be a tough one. 2024 is going to be wild.
Essie Cup, David Urban, thank you.
Thanks.
Let's see. Okay. What do we have up next?
If we're lucky, maybe it'll help us break the two-party system.
That would be nice, wouldn't it? You know, that's a good summary here, Justin. I like that at the end of this. Like, let's round the Trump story off with that sentiment, brother. I like that. Hopefully we see the decline of this bipartisan system. I don't want a two-party system anymore. I don't like it. There needs to be multiple parties, endless parties. They need to have a chance. This needs to be more representative to the diverse and ever-changing ideals of the populace. And humans change. These parties need to change. Their ideals need to change. And not the way they have been. The blues and the reds, the donkeys and the elephants are horrible right now. Horrible. Would be great to see an independent, any kind of party pop up. Be horrible if it was National Socialist. I hope nothing like that. Please, if you're going to be a socialist, please adopt the stylings of Andrew Yang. And, you might have a chance. You might have a chance. Which Yang should consider forming a party with Tulsi Gabbard. That's my opinion. I'd vote for those two still. I'd still vote for him. A Yang Gabbard ballot. Okay, let's see here. We have son of suspect arrested in murders of Albuquerque Muslim
The son of Mohammed Syed, arrested
men.
in the murder of 2 of the 4 Muslim men in Albuquerque, has also now been arrested. He's facing charges in connection to guns he purchased last summer. News 13's Ariana Kraft joins us now with what we know.
Maiwan Syed, also known as Shaheen Syed, is in custody after a special agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives discovered he gave a false address when buying guns, and that's a federal crime. According to firearms transaction records, Shaheen Syed purchased 2 guns from Omni Arms in June of last year. On his background check and application,
with false
he listed
addresses.
an address across the country in Hallandale Beach, Florida. Investigators say that apartment has been occupied by another man for several years, and there was no indication Syed ever lived there. We've asked if there's any indication that Shaheen Syed is connected to the murders of several Muslim men in Albuquerque. Investigators have not directly answered that question today, but they told us yesterday police are still going through evidence to see if Syed's father, Muhammad, is the only suspect.
Right now, we're only charging one person.
What's going on in Albuquerque?
If the evidence leads us to someone else that needs charges, we'll be happy to file on with the DA's office.
Right now, Mohammed Syed is charged with the murders of Muhammad Afzal Hussein and Aftab Hussein. The investigation into 2 other murders of Muslim men continues. As far as the son is concerned, we've learned he does have a criminal past, including battery charges against family members. In late February, officers were called to a southeast apartment because Shaheen was allegedly hitting his father and sister. In the criminal complaint, officers stated this was not the first time his sister was injured by him, to the point she was in the hospital and taken into custody by CYFD. According to police, Muhammad Syed's son Shaheen was questioned yesterday about the murders but denied any involvement. Back to you.
Thanks, Ariana. Now, Muhammad has also denied any involvement in the murders, but police say bullet casings from a gun Muhammad purchased and was found in his home match the bullets from 2 of the murder scenes that he is charged with.
Damn. Damn, that's a weird mystery. What? So, what's going on in Albuquerque? Why is there just a string of people, a string of Muslim men being killed? Is there some kind of Muslim gang, perhaps? I'm gonna have to look into that. We're gonna put a pin in that story. That was just a quick little mystery that was trending today that I thought I would, follow, but I'm going to do some research into crimes in that area and see if maybe there's maybe some kind of Muslim gang, some kind of Muslim underground, maybe a terrorist cell faction gone rogue, and now some kind of John Wick style assassin is coming through at all of them. I don't know. But, oof. Shoosh. Let's see. Let's move to explosions rock Russian-held airbase in Crimea. We're going to check out a little bit of the Ukrainian news, guys. A story I don't normally go into, but we're, moving from political to world.
There are conflicting reports today about a deadly string of explosions at a Russian airbase in Crimea.
One person has died and several others have been injured. Ukraine has not officially taken responsibility for the explosions, but claims there was massive damage. Russian officials say munitions blew up at the base, causing the explosions. If it turns out Ukraine did strike the facility, it would be the first time the country hit a Russian target in Crimea. It could represent a significant escalation in the war.
CBS News reporter Mary Ilyushina joins us now from Riga, Latvia. Mary, welcome. Great to have you with us. So what more do we know about these explosions in Crimea?
Well, Ukraine, as rightfully mentioned, has not officially taken blame for this, but Ukrainian officials from the Zelensky administration told several media outlets anonymously that it was indeed Ukrainian special forces that are responsible for this attack. And it's important for a lot of reasons, but mainly that this is the first time Ukraine, if it actually did that, strikes a territory that Russia considers its own. It's obviously very an escalation if it indeed gets confirmed. But what's also interesting is the Russian reaction, because Russians, have sort of given this official version, just saying yes, an explosion happened, but did not give any sort of details. Because if it is indeed Ukraine, it is definitely an embarrassment for Moscow that it was not able to prevent this attack, or if it was an airstrike, it means that some of its air defense systems are not working as well as they should be working. So this is definitely something that Russia will have to take into account, that, very few weapons that Ukraine possesses can reach this far into the territory that Russia considers its own. So that could potentially mean that Ukraine could reach other really important strategic ports.
Well, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is vowing to win back Crimea from Russian occupation. Why is this region so important to him?
They can't rule out either that with such a publicized and atrocious war, that maybe there are rogue factions that are committing terrorist acts on behalf of Ukraine without the compliance of Ukraine. Again, they're a nation under siege, so it would this is vibes more like a terrorist act. So I guess what I'm getting at.
Well, this is where it all started. In 2014, Russia annexed Crimea from Ukraine. It was bloodless, but still Ukraine lost a really important part of its territory. And in these years, Russia turned it from a Black Seaside resort into a very important military base for the Russian forces. This is where they've launched the attack on Kherson area, which, a lot of parts of it are under Russian occupation right now. It built up its fleet. It relocated a lot of its permanent military personnel onto this peninsula. So it is symbolically and strategically really key for Kyiv to regain this territory, although doing so will be very difficult because, like I've mentioned, there is a lot of Russian forces there. So it's definitely a complicated area to navigate, but strategically very important.
And Mary, we understand that U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is visiting the Latvian capital for bilateral talks on the war in Ukraine.
I think one of my cousins sends
What
me,
did he pledge to the Baltics amid
area.
Russian military action in Ukraine?
Well, this is a key visit because, a U.S. Defense Secretary has not visited Latvia for nearly 3 decades. So this is really a big deal and just underscores how important sort of Baltics have become to the United States now that Russia's invaded Ukraine. And he promised that the U.S. rotational troops that are stationed here in Latvia, they will be bolstered if there's some sort of threat from Russia coming to Latvia. The U.S. will, maybe send more troops. And they're just generally pledging to keep this line of connection with the Baltic states because they're key for obviously helping Ukraine repel this attack. And the Baltics are feeling really nervous because, they feel like they, could be next because they're former Soviet countries that used to be under Russian control. So they really value this relationship with the United States.
All right. Well, Mary Ilyushina in Latvia, we thank you for joining us.
Rather insane news, guys. I think, again, it could be a rogue faction. It could be Ukraine escalating things in Crimea. Like they explained, Crimea was annexed in a bloodless way from Ukraine and turned into a military site. So see what becomes of that. All right, next, guys. We're moving on to entertainment news. We're going to talk about Ezra Miller catching a felony.
Tonight, new charges just released against Hollywood star Ezra Miller. According to a police report released Monday, the Flash star was charged with felony burglary for allegedly going into a Vermont home and stealing.
Also, hello everybody viewing. Be sure to smash that thumbs up. Hello Christy, hello Alley Cats, hello Shadow. Hello everybody.
Several bottles of alcohol back in May. A spokesperson for Miller declined to comment. It's just the latest in a string of legal troubles for the 29-year-old actor.
Whoever you're looking for, it's not me.
Miller, previously known for their roles in films like Justice League and Fantastic Beasts, is now also becoming known for alleged behavior off-screen. Fans were shocked in 2020 when a video surfaced appearing to show Miller choking a woman in an altercation at a bar in Iceland.
Did you want to fight? Is that the deal?
A bartender who witnessed the incident told NBC News Miller spat in his face several times when he intervened, so much so that spit covered most of his face.
Whoa.
No charges were filed.
Why is he salivating
had a
so hard?
stretch of run-ins with police in Hawaii in 2022, starting with an arrest at a karaoke bar.
I claim my 9th Amendment rights to not be unlawfully persecuted for a crime of no designation, disorderly conduct being something I am unguilty of.
Police say Miller became agitated while patrons began singing, and they began to yell obscenities, grabbing the microphone out of a woman's hand, and later lunging at a man playing darts.
A guy in that bar declared himself as a Nazi. I have it on film, and he attacked me.
How do you plead as to disorderly conduct that occurred on March 27, 2022? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
That case is now closed according to court documents.
He pled no
Separately,
contest.
and later that spring, Miller was arrested for second-degree assault, refusing to leave a party when asked, throwing a chair and striking a woman on the head, according to police, who say that investigation is still active. Then a North Dakota parent alleged that Miller groomed his child, Takata, who met the actor at the age of 12 during a protest of the Dakota Access Pipeline. A court granted an interim protection order. It's unclear if that is still in effect.
It's crazy.
Dakota Iron Eyes, now 18, has publicly denied being groomed and posted on Instagram that Miller, quote, only provided loving support and invaluable protection. And a Massachusetts mother was granted a temporary order of protection against Miller on behalf of her 12-year-old child. The court order said, quote, there is a substantial likelihood of immediate danger of harassment. But the order did not contain any allegations against Miller. NBC News has reached out, but neither Miller nor their representatives have commented on any of the incidents or accusations. While the allegations against the star continue to mount, Warner Brothers is still slated to release The Flash next year, despite canceling a slew of other projects. Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav said in an earnings call just days before Miller's latest charges that The Flash was among the great DC films coming up.
Nick Cannon needs to slow down
right now to convince DC and Zaslav.
No, he does.
David
He's got plenty of money.
Discovery
dude, it's just irresponsible for the people, like the lives he's affecting with the amount of children he's having at this point. Like, dude, you can't even
movie he's got coming up, right?
Remember names and birthdays.
Just next month, he's set to star as the young.
But does he get presents though?
Called Dollyland.
Yeah.
That will have a premiere at the Toronto Film Festival. But the film festival's announcement.
I think what Nick's going for is to have so many babies. It's just a birthday every day,
dude. 365.
Nothing but a party up in the Cannon household, baby.
Warner Brothers for comment on the Flash movie.
He's been wearing a turban. He's been.
Thanks for watching our
white people.
He's been freaking me out. Nick Cannon's been freaking me out.
I mean, I'm cool with the turban, dude. Wear what you want to wear.
I mean, I dig the look. I'm just like, it's when it's paired with having a harem. I'm like, what are you getting into, homie? What is your life like right now? Why are you living like a sheik?
He wants to be a caliph, bro. Leave him alone. All right, it's America. We can live how we want.
Like, there's just something to getting, again, anyone that walks slow enough pregnant. Like, man, I don't know. I'm on the edge of a vasectomy. I'm getting a vasectomy the 25th. So, I don't know. I'm like, dude, how could you possibly, in your heart, have enough room for like 365 kids? Some of them are gonna be born on the same day. That's gonna be frustrating. And then when he loses a kid, and it's like he damn near doesn't remember the baby mama's name, is how it seems. Like, all right. So, wrapping up on Ezra Miller before we move to Jeanette McCurdy. Jeanette McCurdy's been in the news, but this Ezra Miller stuff, dude.
She in the news for the same thing.
What?
About how much she hated acting.
Oh, she did.
How does she keep getting in the news? Like, because I read the article about that, like when I almost just moved out of my parents' house, bro.
Yeah, she's doing hella.
And it's like the same thing.
Yeah, well, she's doing something interesting, which hasn't really been done by a former child celebrity before, which is using their parents' death as like promo. So she's, like her mom died, and she like released a book like I'm glad my mom died or whatever, like, like she's just happy her abuser is out of her life.
Yeah.
And apparently now now that her mom is gone, she's just opening up about everything, about all of it, all of the things she went through.
On the outside, it was doing a lot of the performing the task.
Which is what I got pulled up here. So hopefully she kind of explains why she's been up in the news lately. Because, again, it kind of vibes to me like she's using, and rightfully so, using the stories of her trauma in her past to like, as promo, as like, some promotional materials. And to kind of, actually make some money for herself. Because it also seems like maybe she was robbed by her parents. But
I mean,
it's consequence culture generation, dude. We get to watch everybody have to face the public now. A generation raised with the internet, so now even Weinstein's in court,
Tap dancing of like the smile and the showing up and landing on my mark, and I'm gonna just do what I need to do and be this, happy-go-lucky Nickelodeon kid.
It's the pantsuits are powerful.
My name is Samantha Puckett. I'm from Seattle, and I love fried chicken.
But inside I was hurting.
Pretty sure I had
it
a
was
sister
painful.
that liked that show.
I was angry. I felt unsupported.
You pull back the curtain on child stardom. It is not a pretty picture.
Not as I see it, no.
At just 15, Jeanette McCurdy was one of the most recognizable child stars on television, playing Sam Puckett in Nickelodeon's hit show iCarly.
Where'd my straw go? Here.
To her millions of fans, she was known as the funny BFF. But she says behind that bubbly on-screen persona, nothing about her real life was funny.
For you, what were the pitfalls of child fame?
You're playing an adult's game. You're in an adult's world, and you don't recognize that. You're incapable of being on that level, but you are confused and you think that you are. And I think it really leads to stunted personal development.
Her personal struggles eventually prompting her to abandon acting altogether.
You say, quite frankly, that this was never your dream. Stardom was never your dream. Whose dream was it?
My mom's. I think she wanted me to have a better life than she had, but I also think her approach was very unhealthy and informed by her own lack of self-work.
So your mom was loco for Choco Puffs.
Vicariously through me.
Jeanette had her first audition at age 6, encouraged by her late mom,
and you're
Deborah.
right.
Their mother-daughter bond, deeply disordered and chaotic.
Like, not in a bad way. I'm glad everybody gets their voice.
Like
but
so
like,
many other child stars, her
holy
acting
shit,
paid
bro.
the bills.
It felt like a lot of pressure. And then I think my mom saw my career as a way out of that life, of that way of living, of that constant grind.
How chaotic was that childhood home? You describe it with one line that stuck with me, that the air in the house felt like a held breath.
It was really complicated. My mom also had cancer when I was 2 years old. That was the first time she was diagnosed. So not only was it chaotic because of the abuse that was happening and my mom's violent and erratic, unstable behavior, but also because we all lived in fear of her cancer coming back.
That volatile relationship is at the center of Jeanette's dark and deeply personal memoir. I'm glad my mom
This
died.
is why we're getting the press, though. Here's
I
the boom.
think I
There's
earned
the
that
product.
title through the writing of the book, but I wanted it to be something that would grab people's attention and get them to pick up the book and then hopefully learn by the end of it
dope cover.
why I have chosen that title.
From the tender age of 11, she says her mother taught her the dangerous habit of calorie restriction, which would turn into years of eating disorders.
In many ways, your mother tried to keep you a child.
Yeah, I think my mom wanted to keep me as controllable as possible. I think she really wanted to have her influence on me, and me growing up was a threat to that.
The key to that was calorie restriction.
Absolutely. I think my mom encouraged and conditioned my anorexia because both she thought that it would in some ways help my career, and also because it served her goal of keeping me young and under her influence.
The book reveals dark episodes of her childhood that for years Jeanette says she blocked out. She describes how her mother would give her showers and touch her invasively until she was a teenager.
She referred to them as medical exams on your private parts.
Yes. This was the hardest part of the book for me to write about. It was a really emotional experience. I laughed during the writing of it, and then I cried a lot after I wrote that vignette.
You talk about basically having out-of-body associations, out-of-body experiences when this is happening to you.
Yeah.
What do you think was going on?
I've tried to understand, and that didn't lead me anywhere productive. I would just spin my wheels trying to understand my mom's motives.
This continued until you were 17?
Yeah.
And you describe in the book that you felt violated.
Yes, I absolutely felt violated, and eventually accepting that was the most, I think, integral piece to my own healing and recovery.
At the height of her stardom, she landed a spin-off series, Sam and Cat, starring alongside future pop star Ariana Grande. She writes about tensions on the set.
Let's see what you said. Say it again, one more time.
I bet it was tough working with Miss
I said I'm
Grande.
really smart.
You literally wrote, I frequently made the mistake.
You think she's related to
of
Todd
comparing
Grande?
my
Dr.
career
Todd Grande?
to Ariana's.
Yeah.
And being jealous of everything, jealous of her childhood, jealous of
I
the
hope
music
so.
career that you didn't even want.
For sure. I was jealous
you would
specifically that she played charades with Tom Hanks. That's what got me. Charades with Tom Hanks.
How dare she?
I know. But I was so young at the time, and I think it's really hard to not compare yourself to somebody at that age when you're in an environment around them all the time. So I made that mistake repeatedly, and I'm glad to be at a place now where I wouldn't trade positions with somebody.
As the show was airing, her mother died of cancer. Jeanette says her life was spinning out of control, anorexia morphing into bulimia and alcohol abuse.
I was never aiming for bulimia. I was attempting to have anorexia, but I couldn't keep it up without my mom. So then that would lead to, I'd starve myself for so long, and then I'd binge, and then I'd purge because I hated the feeling of fullness, hated it.
It would take Jeanette years to seek proper help and start therapy to begin grappling with her trauma.
I couldn't initially accept the idea that my mother was abusive toward me because my whole way of life, my whole way of going through the world was, I was operating through this lens of my mom wants what's best for me. Even after she died, I'm nothing without my mom. I can't do anything without my mom. I'm incapable, I'm incompetent. What would mom want? What would mom think? What does mom need? That accepting that she was abusive would have meant reframing my entire life. And that felt impossible. I couldn't go near that for a long time.
Jeanette says that building a new life without her mom began with a stunning decision to leave acting behind.
Why quit acting?
It was important for my recovery at the time. It represented my mom living vicariously through me. It represented something that my mom wanted that I didn't want. So it was important for me to step away in a very definitive way and really just focus on completely on healing myself.
Reflecting back on her career, Jeanette's critical of the Hollywood machine and the world she was exposed to at such a young age. In her book, she writes that after Sam and Cat was canceled, Nickelodeon offered her a $300,000 thank you gift if she agreed to never speak publicly about her experience at the network.
And the promos
specifically with a man she refers to as the creator, who on one occasion, she says, encouraged her to drink while she was still underage and gave her a shoulder massage. In response, Nickelodeon telling ABC News, we have no reportable response other than a no comment.
We know who that was. That was Dan Schneider.
I just said, no, it's not happening. That sounds like hush money to me.
Everyone knows
not
that was
doing
Dan
it, not taking
Schneider.
it.
I don't
and then
care.
I do remember
Sue me.
leaning against, I think I talk about this in the book, but I lean against my bed and I'm like, well, shoot, that could have put my nieces through college. Like, that was some good money. But
allegedly,
I'm ultimately proud of my decision.
Then you're covered.
Wherever it came from, even if it was informed by self-righteousness, I think that I think I did something that was really hard to do. Oh my God, it makes me emotional. I'm proud of myself.
Why? Why proud of yourself?
I think I've chosen a path of integrity.
She has chosen a path of integrity.
And it hasn't always been easy.
Now 30, Jeanette says she's recovered from years of eating disorders and found a sense of balance for the first time in her life.
What's your body image now, and what's your relationship to food like, and how do you sort of go about your day?
I'm glad you asked this because when people talk about eating disorder recovery, they talk about it being such an ongoing process and something you deal with every single day for the rest of your life, and it's always a battle. And I think that kind of language doesn't help motivate. I'm at a place now where I don't obsess about food at all. I haven't engaged in any sort of disordered eating behavior for years. I'm really proud of that.
Jeanette says healing also comes through in her writing. She's working on a novel and a collection of essays. And while she sees herself as a writer, she hasn't completely ruled out a return to acting.
I just wish I could have shown
That was
my
a
20-year-old
really cool
self
little
me
spot
now.
to have some
I would have
barbecues.
known what I was
Holy
aiming for. I
snap.
would have had something to hope for, something to be encouraged about. I didn't have that.
What would you have told your 20-year-old self?
Look at me now, baby. You're gonna be fine, kid. I probably would have said.
And
Hi,
she
everyone.
awkward. George Stephanopoulos. Sorry, George Stephanopoulos scared me. All right. Well, okay. So Jeanette McCurdy, boom. This is why she's in the news. She's finally able to open up about the abuse she suffered at the hands of her mother. Guys, I want to move on to the next story. It's Pete Davidson. Him and Kim Kardashian broke up, and apparently he's in trauma therapy for the beef with Kanye.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. So let's check this out. Let's see what they're
On her face.
Yeah, the one with the Evian with the gold leaf. Evian gold. The $14,000 one.
If I don't get some 14 karat on my cheeks right now, someone is fired.
If I don't drink some gold in the next 10
On all
minutes.
of her cheeks.
Well, gang, that is it. That is the news dump for the day. We did it. I'm glad you guys came to hang out.
God, I finally caught you. Barely.
Oh yeah. things have changed officially at MURKtv. We are MURKtv now. We do a lot of Let's Plays once a week, or once a day, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. There's a Let's Play that releases on YouTube at 10 a.m. Minute Music Reviews. Let's see, this week it's Frank Zappa from Minute Music Reviews. Last week was the Mars Volta. The week coming up, Pink Floyd. So Roger Waters, keep staying in the news. Keep saying political stuff. It's going to drive views.
Fucking Roger Waters, bro.
Dude, Roger Waters is out of his mind. But you know what? Again,
I mean, I'm not going to lie, dude. I'm going to be devil's advocate / human being here. And he's not exactly wrong.
He's not wrong.
But here's the problem. Where he is wrong is very important. Is he says that that NATO is like driving right up to the borders of Russia, when in all reality, Russia is telling everyone that's not Russia, if you don't join NATO, we're going to fucking kick your ass. And they've been doing that for 12 fucking years. And what do you expect people to do?
What do you expect people to do?
Like, what do you expect people to do? If you're not going to be a friendly, good neighbor, they're going to go find some.
That's my criticism at Roger Waters, is not every political misstep, not every war, not every casualty had in modern society is because of the Western world. It's not all because of the Western world. Like, there's.
I mean, no. How about Russia, Chechnya, bro? There's not one Western country involved there.
Exactly.
But like,
exactly. Like, he blames the modern Western world for a lot of stuff, and it's like, nah, you know, like, yeah, we're lame, but there's some pretty cool stuff going on. There's still hope to be had for the Western world. Roger is just a whole vibe. But again, I hope he stays upset. I hope he stays in the news. Again, next week, Pink Floyd reviews. I'm establishing all of my classics, all of the things that I like the most for Minute Music Reviews, and then I'm gonna start reviewing new stuff.
Are you gonna talk about the shit you hate the most, though? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Are you gonna talk about that line or about the worms digging into his brain? Because I'll never forget that 2 minutes of conversation for my entire life, bro.
Yes,
You're like, I fucking hate this part, dude. Why did they even put this in? Sorry, I'm probably ruining some shit.
No, not at all. No, it absolutely no. You actually reminded me. Now it's gonna be.
Yeah, I can tell.
I had filled a Venn diagram with the reasons I hate the wall.
We need a good rant once in a while.
Yeah, no, the wall is definitely and I only have a minute to review it, so I'm gonna be really bland. But I'm gonna have to throw that in because there's so many things I hate about that record. And just about Roger Waters that I'm like, I can't fit it into a minute. That's been the challenge with like Minute Music Reviews, is like, oh man, I could talk for an hour about some of these records, but hell no.
If you do one rant and one rave, like one negative and one positive, 1 minute of each.
Oh yeah, no. Editor me says no. I checked.
Okay.
He says 1 minute. You get one full minute. You maybe a minute.
Point
30.
Counterpoint. Of yourself. That's funny.
Oh yeah, no. Editor me is pretty hard.
Just do it like that scene in The Boys where Homelander's talking to himself in the mirror, bro.
Yeah. There's some Murk plays if you guys watch this most recent like cursed ass Grand Theft Auto run where it's like I'll shout out editor me like, hey, fast forward, and I'll just type no. Not gonna edit that in. Not gonna do that for you. I don't have time. I'm doing a week of Let's Plays.
Editor me does not have time.
It does not happen.
I know about that. I'm going through and like editing out all the ums and ands and uhs from the podcast we just recorded.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my god, dude.
It is such
maybe us having a couple of beers before this wasn't the best idea.
I'll tell you right now, your best friend is going to be like either Control or Alt on a regular PC, and B is just cut, is split on most editing software. So if you need to just chop, just like Command B, all your little ums. I get to where I can see the waveform of an or an and I'm just like,
chop,
I can
see that. I'm like, that's an um.
Yeah.
Or I find
Yes.
a lot of I'm like, no, they don't know. That's why they're fucking listening to this. They don't actually know.
Mine is a yeah. Or anyway, I have a bunch of them that I'm constantly editing out. Well, not anymore, actually. Editor me again's been kind of an asshole. I can talk about him like a different person because he is. Different set of priorities. There's like creative me who's like, edit this in, edit a walnut eating a horse. It's like, I'm not going to do that.
I'm not going to do that. If you could just, go ahead and edit in an eagle flying down and swooping up a raccoon, but the raccoon fighting its way out, that'd be great. Thank you, editor me. And editor me's like, fuck you, dude. I don't even know. No.
Yeah. All the
That's smart, though.
All the past live streams where I've been like, oh, I'll just pull this off of Twitch, and then I'll pull the clip from that, and then I'll edit all the ands and ums, and then I'll post it on YouTube. And editor me, like, I'll say like, oh, I'll clip this for YouTube later. And no, I'm not gonna do that. I didn't do that. I didn't end up doing that. Editor me said, hell no, dude, no. I'm not gonna take 3 hours to download the thing you forgot to record from Twitch. Like, if you wanted it that bad, hit record. Dummy, I do that all the time. It's like, oh, I missed this this is just gonna be a live stream. That's fine.
Dude, I don't even record on Twitch.
I
figured out that if I don't record on Twitch, I can basically play whatever the fuck I want.
Yes.
All the time. So, and plus I never recorded anyway because I don't really have anywhere to store right now. I got to get storage for lots of things now apparently, but never had anywhere to store it all. And I know a lot of places store it on their own, but like I live under a rock and I'm over 20, so like I know, I have my own stone in ways that computers work, and even when they don't work like that, that's just how they work.
Yeah. No, absolutely, dude. I'm pretty I set in my ways. I have like a way that I edit and a way that I like to do things. I've had to change it up lately, which is weird, but thank God Lux has her little MacBook, because again, my iMac is being the worst editing rig on planet Earth. It's this Intel chip. I gotta get a new iMac. I gotta just sell it, buy a guitar and an older Mac. You know what I mean? Like, it's silly I'm holding on to it. It's worth more than it can actually do for me.
Wait, what should I know about Macs and Intel? Say that again.
It just has it has a shitty Intel chip. There's Macs that they made a few years ago that were off the line really cool and worked really well, but a year later they just crapped out because of an Intel chip that's in them.
Yeah. Okay, so I have an old Mac that I'm still on, so
yeah, not gonna be a problem. Not gonna be a problem. This was like new and $1,500 when I got it, and I'm so mad. Yeah,
I'm gonna get a new one though, so maybe I shouldn't get a super new.
Get a production suite if you're doing actual editing and stuff on it. If you're not, it shouldn't really matter. It just depends on what you're doing with it. Like for what I do on a Mac, it's not okay. For if somebody's just like needs a casual computer, or they check emails, they watch videos, they do light video editing, that's fine. But I do like music, a lot of stuff. I do visual art. I do a lot of stuff on Mac.
That's what I do, marketing, art stuff, creative.
Yeah, so you want something with a decent video card, and it's almost worth it at this point to get a PC and pay for just whatever Adobe software's worth it.
Okay.
Yeah, right now anyway. Again, Mac's functionality is just dipping and dipping and dipping. You can't stream from it. You can't.
Really?
If I was to screen share Discord, even on Discord, and try to, you wouldn't be able to hear the audio on Discord from my Mac.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't.
I haven't been in the market for so long that I've not even looked. So, but it's getting close to being that time. So this is good intel. Thank you.
Yeah. No, the newer iMacs are not great. I'm over it, beyond over it. It's just kind of collecting dust at this point. I need to record. I'm trying to do music and stuff, and it kind of gets through with some music because I've got a new effects processor that's like a piece of hardware that plugs into my interface. So I'm not rendering it all through my DAW, my recording software. So that makes things easier. Again, anything that can limit processing while I'm doing stuff. But again, I do a lot of stuff. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
But guys, this is the end of News Dump for the day. I think we'll be back, I guess, let's say Wednesday of next week.
All right. Well, thanks. Good to see you guys.
Hey,
quickly.
Good to hear from you. Chief, Justin, if you're still with me, my Shield brothers, hang out in Discord for a second while I bring the stream down, and let's scheme up some dates to do some edited content, because that's what I'm most into.
Sounds good.
We'll record some episodes of something, and then I'll release them through the week. Okay. All right, gang. Goodbye out there in digital world. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Do it or corporate will lock me in a basement.